2012 is a good year for Joss Whedon. Cabin in the Woods, which he co-wrote, just released. That little film that he directed, The Avengers, has been getting amazing buzz on Twitter. And in the latter half of the year, he's got a micro-budget production of Much Ado About Nothing, starring some familiar stars that he's worked with. However, admittedly, I'm most excited for Nathan Fillion to be interacting with the guys from Britannic. That scene is going to be very fun. It'll also be really interesting because now English teachers will have a choice when showing a movie whether to show the Kenneth Branagh version or the Joss Whedon version. Not to knock the Kenneth Branagh version by any means, but it is high time that another Much Ado was made. A Midsummer Night's Dream is also due for a reimagining. If we're sticking with an internet Shakespeare sort of thing, we could easily have the Tinkers be the guys from Derek Comedy. Ooh, or better yet, it's just the cast of Community. Troy, Jeff, Britta, and Annie would be the four lovers, the Dean would be the prince, Oberon and Titania would be Pierce and Shirley, the Tinkers would be a bunch of favorite secondary characters, because you know, we'd like to see Magnitude play Thisbe, Nick Bottom would be played by Chang, and then of course later would pair him with Shirley, and Abed would be Puck. How perfect is that? I mean, Danny Pudi's already had exposure to Puck since he worked with Britannic on that Monologue for 3 video, and I brought it all around. Ba-bam! And spent more than a minute not talking about the movie I'm supposed to be reviewing. Cabin in the Woods' tagline, "You think you know the story," really hits it home. Because the primary story is one we've all seen. 5 college students go to a cabin in the woods. Oh hey, the title of the movie! Where they happen to go down into the cellar and stumble on a bunch of baubles, among them being a diary with some passages in Latin. And those incantations of course raise a bunch of pain-worshipping redneck zombies who then in turn go after those kids. Now that should feel like pretty familiar fodder for a horror junkie. It feels very similar to an Evil Dead film, although not Army of Darkness because that one's just crazy off the rails. But what puts a nice tilt on this film is the secondary outside story, which is the fact that these kids are all being manipulated by a secret underground facility that is participating in some sort of and destroying the world. Cause you know, that happens. God, it's hard to not spoil anything. I really have to say, I like the business as usual attitude applied to a situation that has such high stakes. And congratulations on your promotion, Danny Tripp. You no longer have to worry about cue card malfunctions. If you're going with Bradley Whitford in promotion, maybe you should go with West Wing. No, cause he was a showrunner in Studio 60 and he's still kind of a showrunner, but it's on a, I don't know, I think that calls for the jar. No, it was on for a full season. It was critically acclaimed. Jar. Jar. In many ways, Cabin in the Woods feels like the proper fusion between Scream and Drag Me to Hell. It's got a self-aware nature to it, and if you know your horror films, there are a ton of hidden gems. This is particularly funny if you're familiar with Asian horror. The stuff you see on the Tokyo monitors, brilliant. I will say though, the trailers are a little misleading. This isn't a scare-a-minute sort of thing. The tongue-in-cheek nature of the control room diffuses the horror in favor of humor. That said, Cabin in the Woods is the best deconstruction of the horror genre since Scream, and all the actors are appropriately aligned for this. Kristen Connolly, Richard Jenkins, Franz Kranz, Thor. And yeah, I thought Franz Kranz had to be a stage name, but apparently his name is Francis Kranz. Either way, he plays a great stoner, and between his ramblings and the control room, we get to tackle the thematics of determinism versus free will. And who doesn't love that guy? No matter how much control you may have over a situation, chaos will reign. I mean, nobody wants to believe that they can be controlled. You ain't no puppet. Cabin in the Woods goes deeper than your conventional horror film. It delves into the draw and bloodlust associated with the genre, and it's a film that you'll be talking about long after you leave the theater with your friends. Simply put, it's a great film, and the first of 3 reasons why this year is Joss Whedon's year. So those are my thoughts on Cabin in the Woods. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you'd like, you can check out previous reviews. As for me, I may not be a puppet, but these guys certainly are. Let's dance!